TG Geeks, episode 323, April 26th, 2021. Channeling Douglas Adams again. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane. We're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, coming to you from Allergy Heaven, Phoenix,
Yes.
Arizona.
Let's get on with it.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the two gay geeks are discussing this.
Well, by my intro, you should know that channeling Douglas Adams, we're going to talk to Zachry Wheeler.
Yay!
He has a new thing out now, so we'll talk to him. We'll have our birthday shout-outs, our featured podcast of the week, and some feedback.
Always.
And shout-outs. And in our second segment, we have something I didn't look to.
Oh, yeah, we got
Okay.
something that we watched last night, in fact, that we're going to talk about.
Oh, what did we watch last night?
Oh,
Oh, that old thing.
that whole thing, despite the fact that it dropped yesterday.
Yes. And then a regular weekly recap and our shout
Our
outs.
wackly whack-up. Or
Wackly recap, yeah. So here we go. And this time we welcome back Zachry Wheeler. He has a new project that he's working on, something different than the Max series and the Immortal...
Immortal Wake.
I was going to say Immortal Beloved. What the heck am I
Immortal-
doing? Where am I?
This is not Beethoven.
No. Anyway, welcome, Zachry.
Hello, gentlemen. So great to chat with you again. Always a pleasure.
Millamook.
Yes. So
That's an inside joke, people.
we have so many things going on in your head. My gosh. It's amazing.
Maybe a little, yeah.
We started out with, when we met you a number of years ago, which was originally the
It was Phoenix Comic-Con then.
Phoenix Comic-Con, yes. And you only had one book out at that time, Transient, and
Two
then
books. Max was out.
Oh, was Max out?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
The first Max book was out, but we went Transient first because it was an interesting premise.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't think. Oh, anyway, whatever. I've lost my mind. Well, I lost it long ago,
I
but
lose track,
I've
don't
been
worry.
trying to find it for years. So then you had the Max series, and then the second book of Immortal Wake series, and then you've got all of these short stories from the Max multiverse, and now
Something completely different.
something
but not.
completely different, but not. Yes, but before we talk about that completely different, but not, I'm sure you're saying, get on with it. Tell
Not
us
at all. We love our deep dives.
Yes, tell our listeners, if they haven't listened to any of the episodes where we've interviewed you, tell them a brief history of who you are, how you got into writing, and
All of that.
all of that.
Sure. A brief synopsis of my authorship incoming. So yes, my name is Zachry Wheeler. I am a science fiction novelist. I have multiple series. The Immortal Wake is a tech noir series that is a reimagination of the vampire legend. I also have a science fiction comedy series entitled Max and the Multiverse. That is currently sitting at 3 novels and 4 short stories and is open-ended. And I promise that there will be more. But right now I am focusing on a spin-off series of Max in the Multiverse entitled Pookie Horpocket Presents, which is a Limelight series that profiles extraordinary beings.
Extraordinary beings.
Wow.
Cool. So
That is so understating it.
oh yeah. and
I will say that the first two series have been YA centric, so I've usually focusing on a more I don't want to say clean, because it's certainly not, but it's much more kind of accessible from a younger audience. The new series is full-on adult sci-fi with all of the intended offending parties. So
yes,
it's much more candid.
Yes.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. Nothing too terribly graphic, but
No, it's
it's
not,
just lots of
obnoxious.
entendre and lots of innuendo and lots
Although
of bizarre descriptions.
I could see an entire book being written entirely from the location of the kink rink.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yes, absolutely.
My God.
There's an abundance of stories to tell from the kink ring. So
Well, I won't say that I want to visit that. just to see it.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Keith and I have already read an advance copy of this book, which is why we're laughing so much at
Oh,
it,
my
because
Lord.
it is hilariously funny.
And we're going to try desperately
Not to spoil anything.
not to spoil anything. So tell us,
do good.
tell us what the new thing is all about.
Yeah.
So I have struggled with this ever since I even started writing it. It's just like, how the hell do I describe this umbrella? It's like this new kind of series approach, because it really is unlike anything I've ever attempted, and really anything I can find out there. And the best way I've been able to describe it so far is, and you'll probably get a kick out of this, Robin Leach in space.
Okay, now I have to reread the book and read all of Pookie's lines with Robin Leach's voice.
Yes. So for any listener who has no idea what I'm talking about, Robin Leach is the old host of
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Yes.
Only
he stands
in
back
this
from the
series,
microphone and then
instead
yells.
Yes.
Literally,
Was
that's
it
what he
Having All
did.
Dreams, and I forget exactly what
Yeah.
it was. But instead of profiling the rich and famous, Pookie Horpocket is a investigative journalist type who is very famous, who is himself a lauded writer, and he is a curator for a directory that documents daily life aboard the station, and he profiles like extraordinary feats and urban legend types. So that's the so it's a similar structure, but that's the difference. And I the whole series is told through his perspective, and I am presented as the translator for Earth editions.
Cool. So you translate this, that you've come upon this with your magic glasses and
Oh my God. That is so Mormon. Thank you very much.
yes, and this all takes place now in the Max universe or multiverse, if you will.
It's one of the many episodes of the multiverse.
Yes.
Yes.
And
this series does serve as a spin-off series from Max and the Multiverse, in that it takes place on the massive Durangoni space station from Book 2, Max and the Snoodlecock. And that's where this whole series started, as an idea of, wow, there are so many stories to tell inside this giant planet-sized space station that houses 1 trillion active residents. So that's where the wheels started to spin long ago, and now it's starting to churn the stories. The first of which is this. First of which is entitled Roy, the Most Chaotic Midlife Crisis in Cosmic History.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now I've got. I want to clear one thing, or not clear, but clarify one thing, and that is, this Durangoni station is so huge that we're talking every single possible economic class you can imagine. from poor Roy's situation, which is less than
there's
attractive,
even ones that are poorer than him.
Yeah, up to like the uber elite. What I really want to know is, at what point, when you were writing Max and the Snoodlecock, at what point did you get that spark and say, wait a minute, what do I have here? I mean, something must have happened that made you think, I'm sitting on something. What was that spark?
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what happened. So when I was writing Max and the Snoodlecock, and I can divulge certain details without giving anything away, so it's not really spoiler territory. There is an incident or not the incident.
An incident.
There was an incident that started the events of Max and the Snoodlecock. It was extremely explosive, extremely action-packed, and there was a lot of damage that it caused inside the Durangoni space station. And the idea hit me as just like, this is a massive collection of citizens with every single different kind of worker, different kind of alien, all doing stuff together. It's like, someone's got to clean this crap up. So it just kind of dawned on me that it's like, this is an interesting thing to explore. It's just like, who is going to fix all of this mess? Who is going to be called? Is it androids? Is it worker crews? Is it construction companies? It's like, how is this going to resolve itself? Now, granted, the Max story has already left the station and gone on its own adventure. So it's just like, I just kept thinking about, like, who are these residents in this giant space station that is going to address this matter?
Exactly.
And then it just got more and more detailed in my mind. And the more and more I thought about it, it's like, well, they're going to have friends, and they're going to have companies, and they're going to have employers. They're going to have relationships. And it's just like, this is something really interesting I can explore. And that's where the spark started, and which eventually blossomed into this particular series.
Yeah. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Writer Psychology 101.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's insanity. Yeah. You have to be insane to be a writer.
Well,
it's not every scene though. It's like, that's the thing that's really fun about this. It's like, whenever I'm taking Max, which is an extremely disjointed, crazy adventure, I'll take him to certain places that, I think about for that particular scene and then never think about it again. But every now and then you'll create this environment that just becomes extremely compelling. And the Durangoni space station was definitely one of them, if not the most compelling, at least for me.
Yeah, and some of the Max spinoffs, the short stories, are pieces that really don't tell the narrative or help the narrative of the book, but are funny. My favorite, I think of all of them, is the item of monumental importance. Oh my God. I read that and I thought, what the heck is it? And then it was like, really? Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. And you're exactly right. I mean, that's you get these ideas of these really incredible environments that are interesting to me as the author, but just can't service the plot.
Right.
So it's these little side adventures, and all the Max and the Multiverse shorts are standalone tales that serve as entry points into the series. So you don't need to have read the books.
Right.
And that particular one is the item of monumental importance. I just had this idea for a fantasy spoof, which turned into its own fun adventure for Max, and that was the first of many Max shorts.
Yes. But this Durangoni station is this gigantic planet-sized space station. I mean, and if you think of a planet-sized space station and 1 trillion people and all of the subordinate
the entire structure
that have to, it took, what was it, a millennium to construct?
Yes.
Well, without
so
giving
a lot of this, that's another aspect about this whole station that really got me interested. It's just I needed to create this giant head-splitting environment for the events of Max and the Snoodlecock to take place, or to springboard off of. And the more I thought about it, it's just like, okay, I've created this behemoth space station. How does this thing work?
Right.
Is this even possible? Because Max is such a crazy story where anything can be, explained by a needlessly extravagant backstory, which I have fun thinking about. But the Durangoni space station was a tangible thing. So I needed to think about the engineering of it and how does it maintain? How is it constructed? And I kept writing down these details of, if this happened, then this is how it could work. And of course, it's going to have its own atmosphere because it's so huge. And how do I deal with the gravity problem? And, that kind of stuff I kept thinking about, and it kept getting more and more interesting. So that's specifically why I came to the conclusion that within the Durangoni space station, the engineers that keep it afloat are the rock stars of the community.
Exactly.
So it's like they're the ultimate celebrities. It's like, and that's why, and I won't give any details or anything away, but that's why those super nerds are like super celebrities.
Right. And then you have the uber rich or the uber rich, the ones that have more money than God.
Well, I think the Durangoni station serves as a beautiful metaphor for any major metropolitan city, be it New York City, Los Angeles, it doesn't matter, that you're going to have all these different elements in society, from, the high elite to, people like the character of Roy, to criminals.
Yes.
Murderers, assassins. It's interesting how you were able to employ all of these different elements in what is, in any major society or environment in a city, and to be able to give it that alien spin, shall we say,
exactly,
and place it into this space station. I mean, it's all relatable and yet at the same time completely new.
And
speaking, you had a very important point, which I was extremely proud of. So whenever you think of the differences between rich and poor from an urban setting, I was trying to translate that into a planet-sized space station. So the best way I could think about it is like if you think of like a high-rise condominium tower. And it's like there's the giant suites on the top that are, catered to the uber wealthy, and they're extremely expensive. And then you have like the tiny units down at the bottom. And that is played out to an extreme degree, because if you're dealing with a constructed structure, not everyone's living on the surface.
Right.
Everyone's living from surface all the way down to core. So there's these, countless levels of class. But the spin I put on this is that since the superstar engineers are the peak of celebrity, and of course, if you're super rich, you want to, live near, it's like my neighbor is so and so. The superstar engineers actually live inside the core. Because that's where the maintenance systems need the most attention. So they're a planet-sized representation of the basement dweller.
Right, exactly.
So the super so the surface caters to the super wealthy, but the absolute peak of the 1% actually live in the core, because they see it as living near the engineers as a status symbol.
Exactly.
So,
and everybody in the middle is kind of the drags.
Yeah. Yep. So the interesting part that it created was the subcore, the shanty-like areas that surround the core are the poorest, and then they're like, meters of titanium away from the richest people in the universe.
Right, exactly.
So it ended up playing out a very interesting dynamic in that way in telling the story.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you covered all kind of levels of society, from the uber rich to the super poor to the addicts to the people that are just kind of going about their lives and trying to survive in the various places.
Just answering simple questions like where does the middle class live in a planet-sized space station?
Yeah, and what do they
Stuff
do
like that.
for?
And it was fun to explore.
For entertainment, and what does everybody on the planetoid, shall we say, do for entertainment?
They go to the kink rinks.
Exactly. Which we'll just let you read to find out what that is. It should be self-explanatory.
It should be, kink rinks. Figure it out. I want to jump to
and the various levels of that.
Oh yeah, the various levels of that. I know. We'll leave that alone.
Not a kink ring. There are multiple places for some quote unquote fun time.
Yeah, I can only imagine what happened to the kink rinks after or during the incident. Holy smokes. That is just that alone is a book. So you've mentioned this one particular character, Roy, and some of the story starts with him, and as you said, these maintenance people, they're like the rock stars. But you've introduced some secondary characters that are highly unique. One that immediately comes to mind is an assassin or a thug. I don't know what you would call him, but his name is Zip, who had turned out to be one of my favorite characters. But what I'm curious about is just, and I'm going to go back to my age-old question about characters' voices and how you hear them, because Zip is unlike anybody I've read in a long time. And I'm fascinated into the evolution of the secondary characters that came about.
Did he speak to you?
Yeah, did he speak to you? That's always the one I ask.
Did he say, "Hey, you're going to write this, and if you don't write it correctly, I'm going to tell all the characters to stop speaking"?
And is it possible that every time you heard a bing and then you saw the guards laughing, was that maybe your own consciousness actually trying to do a correction? And was Zip your id?
That's a good way to describe him, actually. It's like maybe Zip is my id. but yes, so I'm very happy you isolated Zip, because he absolutely is one of my favorite characters in this entire book. And he absolutely talked to me. And the reason is, and without giving away any spoilers, I needed a Zip-like thug character, an assassin character, to usher Roy through a specific part of the story. And he is a lackey of a familiar character that Max fans will recognize. Little teaser there. And he was such a compelling character in that little bridge part that I needed him, that he turned into a much more invested part or a much more invested part of the story. And fleshing him out ended up being some of the most compelling plot developments. And he ended up becoming like a plot shift because I liked writing him so much.
Oh, cool. Well,
so, but yes, Zip ended up being quite a foundational presence for the story, and I promise there will be more Zip in the future.
Cool.
Yay!
Now, I want to say to everybody listening that, and I said this to you before we started the interview, that, and we've had a way advanced reading copy. It's not even done yet, and you've added more to it since we've read. Mm-hmm. But when I first started reading this story, if I had not known it was Zachry Wheeler, I would have thought it was Douglas Adams, just by the style of the writing. And I would encourage anybody that likes Douglas Adams to pick up this and Max and the Multiverse, and because your style is very Douglas Adams.
I know that with Keith, you had reviewed at least one, if not more, of the Max books. And in one of your reviews, you did refer to, our lovely guest here as the heir apparent to Douglas Adams. And if those Max books were the initial sign that you, sir, Zachry, was to be the heir apparent to Douglas Adams, I would say that this book sealed the deal.
Exactly.
Because I agree. Had I not known this was you, and I know I said this during the pre-interview, had I not known that this was written by you, I would have thought this was a lost work by Douglas Adams, and I would have been saying, where the hell has this been hiding all these years?
So readers cannot see that I am wearing a toothy grin from ear to ear. So thank you, gentlemen. You have no idea how much that fills me with the desire to write so much more, and I'm thrilled that that vibe came through with this series. And I'm happy that you say that, not just because it feeds my ego.
No,
we
mean it.
It's Pookie, since this whole series is written through the perspective of Pookie Horpocket. It was an intentional strategy to give him a very distinct voice, and without it being me, without it just coming across as, oh, this is just Zachry Wheeler talking through this person, and the fact that it comes across not only or it comes across effectively, but gives you vibes of Adams. It's just like
yeah.
I'm just bathing in the fulfillment of that comment. So thank you.
Our pleasure. So unfortunately, we're up against the red line. So I'm going to beg everybody who's listening to this episode, you need to pre-order this book.
And you don't have to have read.
No, you don't
Max.
need to have read Max.
So.
You don't, because this book, you can just dive right into this book and enjoy it for what it is. So how can people get their hands on this thing?
And where can they find you?
Excellent. So the easiest way is just to go straight to my website, zachrywheeler.com, complete with the weird spelling, Zachry, Wheeler.com. And that'll have all of the information for the upcoming release. You can also go straight to, since this is technically an intergalactic literary series, there's also PookieHorpocket.com,
yes,
which tells you all about the series from his specific perspective, which will also have purchase links, and that is PukiHorpocket.com. And there you will find the current books or the current book and the upcoming information about upcoming stories. The second of which is already written. I just want to do a release for this one and get people interested before the second one comes out, which will be in short order. And the pre-order for Roy is going to be in early April. I don't know the specific date yet. It depends on a couple of factors, but if you want to know exactly when it goes, I encourage you to sign up for my monthly newsletter. So recipients of that will be the first ones to know when the pre-order goes on sale. And that's zachrywheeler.com/newsletter or /free book, which you can get a free copy of the item of monumental importance if you join the newsletter. And as far as social media, you can find me on Twitter at Zachry Wheeler.
Cool. Well, this has been absolutely...
And the official release date for the book is May 4th. And
May 4th.
The easiest way to remember that is
Star Wars Day.
May the 4th be with you.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much again, Zachry, for being with us.
It is always a pleasure, guys. You continue to be one of my favorite podcasts / webcasts, so it's always a joy to speak with you both.
Well, thank you very much.
Hey guys, my name's Gigi Edgley. I play Tiana on Farscape, and I'm the host of Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge, and you're listening to the Two Gay Geeks. Big love.
I don't remember that one from Gigi.
Yeah, that one's the other one. That's the short one.
Yeah. What a joy it was to talk to Zachry.
Absolutely, especially about this
book
thing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Loved this book.
It was incredible. And it truly was very Douglas Adams-esque.
It is very Douglas Adams-esque.
I think even more so than
Max.
Than Max.
Multiverse, yeah.
And Max is pretty Douglas Adams.
Yeah, but this one really screams like Douglas wrote it.
Yes. And here's a few selected birthdays for April 26th, 2021 through May the 2th, 2021. April 26th, William Shakespeare.
Shakespeare?
Shakespeare.
Must be American Indian.
Yes, he was. He was 1564 to 1616. Do you know his wife was Anne Hathaway?
Anne Hathaway?
Yes.
Boy,
I knew there was something pretty evil about her.
So great for her age.
She's a witch. She's a witch.
I don't know what she's doing. Maybe drinking the blood of virgin children. Who knows?
Who knows? But anyway, and then we have Giancarlo Esposito, actor from The Mandalorian. He's actually in Godfather of Harlem right now. He was one of the children's chorus who sang the theme song for Electric Company.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
How about that?
His mother was an opera singer as well. Carol Burnett. What in the world is there to say about Carol Burnett?
One of the most talented women ever to walk the earth.
The queen of television comedy.
And dramatic television as well. She's a very strong actress in her own right.
Yep, and one of the very few people that has successfully sued the National Enquirer in 1981, yes. And then Tom Welling, and a friend of ours, J. Scott Coatsworth, who's an author of sci-fi, and Scotty Roughgarden, Mr. Honeybubbles himself.
Yep.
And my uncle Jim O'Neill, who sadly passed away a month or 2 months ago.
Yeah, very recently.
Yep. April 27th, Jenna Coleman, actress, The Impossible Girl, as well as many, many other things. And Casey Kasem. Master of Voices, and American Top 40.
And Shaggy,
yes. And also on the 27th, Wallace Carruthers. He was a chemist who worked for DuPont Chemicals, and he was the inventor of nylon and neoprene. And his team also developed polyester in the 30s and 40s. Yep. Russell T. Davies, TV writer, creator of Queer as Folk, Doctor Who showrunner.
Yes, he brought Doctor Who back to the television screens.
And Torchwood and Adventures of Sarah Jane. And,
I love The Adventures of Sarah Jane.
And many other things. April 28th, Jay Leno, or Jay Limo, as he's referred to in Cars. Stand-up, originally stand-up, and then talk show host, car collector.
Quite the car collector.
Over 170 classic cars and 150 motorcycles he owns.
He does drive them.
Yes.
So at least they're not just sitting there gathering dust. I mean, because otherwise I would question, why would you do that? But if you're actually going out and driving them, then I can say, all right, if you've got the money, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I think it said that his first vehicle was a 1934 Ford pickup that he restored himself at the age of 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, okay. And now I'm impressed.
Yeah. And then we have Oskar Schindler, industrialist who saved over 1,200 Jews during the Holocaust. He spent every penny he had protecting his workers during the Holocaust.
He was a failed businessman before and afterwards, but what he did during that time is beyond any kind of honor. Yep. I mean, it was amazing what he did.
His story was Schindler's List, that made by Steven Spielberg.
And think about how many Jewish people are alive today.
Exactly.
Because he was able to save those 1,200.
Yep. He died in 1974 and was buried in Jerusalem on Mount Zion. Terry Pratchett, author. His Discworld series is 41 novels.
Oh, God.
I'm almost ashamed to say that I have never read any of his works.
I haven't read... I might have read one, but I think it was, a long time ago, high school.
Yep. And then we have Jan Oort, Dutch astronomer. He postulated the existence of dark matter in 1932. And
he's ahead of his time.
Exactly. And the Oort cloud is named after him. And then we have filmmaker Jordan Blazak and Jeff Patton. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
April 29th, Uma Thurman, actress. She grew up in a household where the Dalai Lama was a frequent guest.
Ooh.
Her father was the foremost what do you say? The foremost
authority,
educator and authority on Buddhism in the United States. And she was the muse for Quentin Tarantino.
Well, that's not surprising.
He said himself.
I mean, she
is his muse.
She shows up in a number of his movies, most notably Kill Bill.
Mm-hmm. Duke Ellington, bandleader and composer over 6 decades. Kate Mulgrew, actress, Captain Janeway. I adore
love her.
Yes. And Henri Poincaré, if you want to say that, French mathematician, if that's the appropriate way to say his name, and theoretical physicist. His work laid the foundations for chaos theory.
Aha.
Yep. And also, some of his later work was instrumental in the formulation of Einstein's theory of relativity. Some of his early work, or later, but early for Einstein. And then we have Leslie Jordan, out gay man, sordid lives, many cameos. Oh my gosh.
We got to see him at an HRC dinner, and he was like the featured guest and did this comedy. It wasn't even comedy. He was just talking about his life, and he had the entire room just in hysterics.
Yep. He once shared a cell with Robert Downey Jr. when he was arrested for drunk driving.
Oh, wow. That's a claim to fame.
Yep. April 30th, Gal Gadot, actress, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And several other things. Cloris Leachman.
Blucher.
Yes. Among many, many other things. Oh my gosh. Cloris Leachman, what a career.
The woman is hilariously funny.
Yep. And Johnny Galecki, actor, Big Bang Theory.
Johnny Go Lucky?
Golecki, yes. Golightly, yes. He was Holly Golightly's brother.
Ah. Okay.
Not Breakfast at Tiffany's.
No.
Breakfast at... Anyway.
Breakfast at Walmart.
Exactly. And he was also in the Vacation films.
Yeah.
Yep. And more. And Kunal Nayyar, who was... Raj Kuthraj in Big Bang Theory. Born the same day. And here we go. Al Lewis.
Oh my God. Crazy Uncle Al.
Yep. Grandpa Munster and host of many midnight films.
Guy's nuts.
And Larry Niven, author of hard science fiction.
Oh.
Ringworld in 1970.
One of the best authors ever.
Yeah. And sadly, I have not read any of his work either.
Ringworld is one of the best books I've ever read, as sci-fi goes. It's fantastic, and his Tales of the Known Universe are incredible.
Yep. And then Jarrett Logan Porter, opera singer and former alumni, or I should say an alumni of the Marianne Ruse Pullen studio artist there at Arizona Opera.
He'll be coming back next season.
Yes. May 1st, Joanna Lumley, actress, staple of TV and film. Oh my gosh. Absolutely fabulous, where she plays Patsy or Boobarella.
She's kind of mocking herself in a way, as this a washed up runway model of a sort, but she's
just brilliant.
she's phenomenal, and she is a beautiful woman. I think she's just stunning.
Yep. And then we have J. Allen Hynek, astronomer and ufologist, the original Mr. Project Blue Book himself.
Ah.
He actually was living in Scottsdale when he died in 1984, I think.
No kidding.
Or 86. And Judy Collins, singer, songwriter, folk musician, Send in the Clowns fame.
Yeah, that was the big one.
Yep. And Megan Zier of the old slice of sci-fi days. May 2nd, Dwayne Johnson, wrestler
Rock.
turned actor. Several projects in post-production, like 6 projects in post-production.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. The action speaks for itself, but he's actually a very good comedic actor.
Yep. And he did voiceover. He was Maui in the Disney film Moana.
Yes, in Moana.
Oh my gosh,
that was
brilliant.
great.
Yep. And strange enough, he was Tim Burton's second choice for Willy Wonka. Can you imagine?
No. No. No, but see,
It would have been.
I'm not questioning Dwayne Johnson.
No.
The thing is that
it would have been completely different.
I question a
film.
lot of things that Tim Burton did with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That movie is just bizarre to begin with. However, I think making Dwayne Johnson as Willy Wonka would have turned it into an outright parody.
It would have been something else. And then we have Benjamin Spock.
Oh, the child doctor.
Yes, pediatrician. He wrote the book that our generation of mothers used to try to kill us with.
Which is why we're all so effed up.
Exactly. We were tried to kill. They tried to kill us with Spock, and we were saved by Spock in Star Trek.
That's about right.
And then David Suchet, Poirot.
The definitive Poirot, I think.
The definitive Poirot, yes. And Theodore Bickel, actor, singer, versatile actor. We just watched him in My Fair Lady the other day when he was a very young man. Oh, my God, 1964, as a matter of fact.
But and this is going to sound weird, but I actually like the roles he took on as an older actor. Be it
Star Trek,
in
Babylon
Star Trek
5.
and Babylon 5. There's just something really beautiful about those roles.
Yep, he was also in The African Queen.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Many, many other things. And we close it off with Roy Roberts, friend of ours,
the Bionic Geek.
Happy birthday, Roy. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Technorama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name. They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technorama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technorama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technorama Podcast.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counsellors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
We want to give a shout out, as always, to the Joshua Tree Feeding Program. I know we do it in every episode, but they do.
But there's a good reason why.
A tremendous amount of good work for the HIV and AIDS community in Maricopa and Pinal counties. They offer a store where clients can come and choose a lot of nutritional items, food items to take home, as well as other items, supplements and pet foods and other daily necessaries that people need. They set it up like a store so that they can pick and choose what they want, and so no food is wasted. They are an all-volunteer organization, and they could really use your help. If you wish to make a one-time gift or a monthly recurring gift to Joshua Tree, you can do that by going to jtfp.org.
And it's time for our feedback, and each of these news items that generated these comments will be featured in the show notes for this episode number 323 at tggeeks.com. Starting off with, regarding TG Geeks episode number 317. There's something kind of meta about this.
Yes.
Brandon Young had left a comment for that episode because, for whatever reason. And so
he said that how much he loved the tarot sequence.
Yeah, I guess that was it. So we read that in episode 317, and Brandon comes back with, the Two Gay Geeks mentioned my feedback on how I'm in love with the tarot sequence. Yes, Brandon, we just mentioned you again.
Yes, there you go.
Moving on, regarding Ben's breakdown, Superman and Lois Season 1, 3-episode thoughts. Got a comment from my dear friend Darren Anderson. He said, saw first episode yesterday. I love the way it was done so that it did not feel like another Superman reboot. Superman has been around in animated films and TV shows from the 1950s to the 1978 film. I like how they kept him fresh without destroying the feel of what makes him Superman. Yes. I agree completely with what you said, Darren. Thank you for sharing that. Moving on. Regarding Andrew's angle, The Courier, suspenseful history, brilliant acting. This is amusing. We got a comment from Stephanie Weipert. She didn't say anything about the movie itself or Andrew's review. She just wanted to talk about us. She said, if you're interested in good, geeky fun, this podcast is for you. Happens to be one of my favorites anyway. Well, thank you, Stephanie. We appreciate it. And then moving on, regarding Hamish Downey's 5 questions with Lee Campbell. Got a comment from Lee Campbell. He left this for us on Twitter. He says, thanks so much for this interview. And we close it off. Regarding Ben's breakdown, Zack Snyder's Justice League finally does justice. Got a comment from Jennifer Martin Windrow, who says, we watched it last night, really enjoyed it. And that is our feedback.
And if you want to leave a comment and a piece of feedback for us.
A piece
of feedback. It's like a slice of cake. Piece of pie.
Piece of pie.
Piece of cake.
Easy as
slice
cake.
Of pie. Easy as cake. Yes, it's easy as cake. You can do that on our Facebook page or on tggeeks.com, or you can actually comment on Twitter and Instagram, as well as our YouTube episodes. You can call our listener feedback line if you want to leave us a voicemail. We would love to hear your voice and what you have to say, and we'll play that on air. You can call 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice. Well, as everybody knows, we are huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others, such as Zachry. Please support those independent creators that you find, since the con season is just beginning to sort of ramp up.
Maybe
and
come back.
Book fairs and whatnot. But please continue to support them on their Instagram pages, their Twitter pages, their Facebook pages, Etsy pages, and their websites. Chat them up. Chat other people up about their stuff. Buy their stuff. Please support independent creators. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
You realize that listeners are constantly adjusting their devices at home because they have no idea what the hell's going on?
Yay.
Oh, great. Yes. So yes, I am seated next to the devil. Incarnate, yes. So that old thing. That old thing.
Oh, that old thing.
Yes, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which ended last night.
Yes. Wow. Unbelievable. We sat and chatted about it after we watched it for a good 10 minutes, and just
there was so much being
incredible. It was
so much that was said in that, and especially they were leading up to it, in earlier episodes, but they really delivered in just huge detail.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
I got a little verklempt.
I did. I'm afraid to say anything because I don't know who's watched this or not.
But it is definitely an incredible season ender.
Yeah,
and it's one of the finer moments.
I think it did a great deal for speaking towards social justice.
Absolutely,
especially in light of the political climate that we've been living in. especially with Black Lives Matter, all of that. I think there was just so much there was so much that was so beautiful in the way that was delivered, and yet couched in this great action that just made it so much fun to watch.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited.
I'm hoping that they get a season 2. But
yeah. Well, one thing we do know is that there has been an announcement for Captain America 4.
Yeah.
That has been announced. So, and I think most fans can kind of guess where that's going to go. Who's Captain America? If you don't know by now, then you're either living in a cave and you have no access to social media whatsoever. Or I can't think of any other reason why not. Yeah. But I look forward to seeing what they're going to do with this.
Yeah, I will say that there was just one tiny disappointing moment, and I'm just going to leave it there. And
I bet I know what it is.
You can make your own judgment on that.
I bet I know what it is. Yep. Yeah, and if I'm right, then I agree with you. It's the one thing that I thought was a letdown, because there had been a lot of hype.
Yep.
Kind of building up to it, not just in the episode or in the episodes, but on social media. There was a lot of hype building up to it.
And we'll leave it alone.
And I was disappointed when it didn't quite deliver the way I thought. Yep. But other than that, I thought this series was amazing.
It was absolutely incredible.
It was
worth
great
watching.
Fun. And, Marvel is 2 for 2 now.
Yeah.
With the Disney streaming shows that they've got. Yeah. So I think this is...
and now, Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
You might as well say it. He's Captain America.
Exactly.
He is Captain America.
We knew that.
Yeah, we knew that. Yeah, it's telegraphed. It's Captain America and the Winter Soldier now.
It's telegraphed from the very beginning.
From the very beginning.
So.
The Falcon is the Captain America now, but holy cow, people, you got to see how great he looks. Yes, it was fantastic. We loved it, and we're just sitting on pins and needles waiting for Loki to show up.
Yes, waiting with a worm on our tongue.
Yes. Now it's time for a weekly review. These are the weekly review. These are the items that we ran on our website at twogeeks.com, and the links for each of these stories will be found in the show notes for episode number 323 at twogeeks.com. Starting with Sunday, April 18th, Nerdy Chupacabras number 44. On Monday the 19th, TG Geeks episode number 322. On Tuesday the 20th, Focus Features announces Downton Abbey 2 in theaters this Christmas. Me looking forward to that because I loved the first Downton Abbey movie. That was so good. On Wednesday the 21st, Film Movement to re-release Strike a Pose documentary for the 30th anniversary of Madonna, Truth or Dare.
Yeah, you want to check that out because it talks about the dancers that went on tour with Madonna and their life and all of that. It's
a really good documentary. On Thursday the 22nd, Ben's Breakdown, Invincible, Season 1, 3-episode thoughts. On Friday the 23rd, Hamish Downey's 5 Questions with McKay Collins. And on Saturday the 24th, This Got Made, hosted by Carlton Tetley, Season 2, Episode K, Valiant Vision 3D. What a trip.
Exactly.
Have a couple of shout-outs that we need to make. First, to the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News for republishing some of our content from time to time. It's put up by the Human Arkle, Brian Weber. You can find the Post-Dispatch News by finding him on Twitter. Search for Arkle, at ARKLE. And while you're at it, look for Arkle Studios on YouTube. Brian has a number of his projects there. His Shameless Cash Grab series, his Rants vs. Zombies series, which has ended, but you can always listen to past episodes, as well as his game videos of Trick and Treat and Star Trek Online, and God knows what else he might choose to put up there.
Exactly. Brian is a busy boy.
He's a very busy boy, and he puts some pretty good content there. We must also give some shout-outs to a couple of Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their pages. First, to Gay Geeks After Hours. I asked, can we share there? They said, please share away. And their URL is facebook.com/groups/Gay Geeks After Hours. And then to The Gay Geek for also allowing us to share our stuff there. And their URL is Facebook.com/groups/thegaygeek. And as always, we must give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thank you, Jeremiah. And other places we can be found are Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Tuesdays at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Sci-Fi Radio, formerly Krypton Radio. They are a 24-hour geeky and sci-fi internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes. And don't forget, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We don't want Arkle to have more subscribers than we do.
Yeah.
And that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page of things that we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and those around you. Stay home, stay safe, get vaccinated. Peace.
Cheers.